Hello, everyone. My name is Guy. I'm an enterprise customer success manager at Linear B. And today, what we're going to do is kick off our very new corner hosted by CS Insider, CS Tech Spotlight. I'm very excited to have Ohad with me today. Hello, Ohad. Thank you for joining.
Hi, how are you, Guy?
I'm very good. I'm very good. How about you?
Perfect.
Perfect.
Looking forward to our
Yes,
discussion.
we're going to have like so much fun today. So the purpose of this corner is basically introduce CSMs and CS leaders, new technologies, like maybe explore areas that you less know, and maybe you can find like ideas to implement in your companies. So I think first thing first, Oad, like maybe folks here want to know who you are. Can you start with introducing yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Guy. So I'm Ohad Biron. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Bagel. I have more than 18 years in the software industry, playing roles both on the product and engineering side, as well as on the go-to-market side. That was the area in which I focused most in the last decade.
Okay, amazing. So today, the focus of our call is the company you co-founded, Bagel. So first of all, like it's a very cool name. I'm interested to know, like, how did you come with the name Bagel?
Yeah, that's a good question. So first, yeah, Bagel is basically the glue between product and commercial teams, turning commercial teams into product heroes to accelerate revenue. So the idea is to help go to market to better collaborate with product in order to build the most impactful products and taking into account what customers really want and need, and then leverage whatever is happening and build on the product side to drive better product adoption monetization. So all in all, what we do is we close the product customer loop, and therefore the name Bagel.
Nice.
In addition, everybody loves bagel, right? So
Yeah, like I'm a sucker for bagels. Give me like my bagel with like a smoked salmon and like cream cheese. That's it. I don't need anything else. So, we started talking about bagel and like you give us like
mhm.
an overview, but I'm interested in like how did you come up with the idea of building bagel?
yeah, so so as mentioned, I was always in this like interesting and tough intersection between R&D and go-to-market. And more specifically, in recent years, when I led the growth and go-to-market teams in a French startup called Prophecy, I found myself chasing after product teams on a daily basis. Very frustrated why they're not listening to me, why they're not listening to our customers, why am I realizing new features while doing demos? A lot of friction points that eventually created a lot of business loss. So I really wanted to solve that problem afterwards,
Mhm.
and that's how we came with Bagel and the whole notion and concept also of AI assistant and how we can help go-to-market teams within their daily tools with product insights and call to actions and ways to extract from the different voice of customer channels, I call it, like Gong, Zendesk, Intercom, and so on. Um,
I think you have a
and
slide when we talked about it earlier. You told me that you have like a really nice slide to have like visual.
yeah, you're right. You're
Mhm.
right. Let me show you.
Yes.
So yeah. So basically, we are sitting exactly in between the different tech stack of the product tools like Jira, Product Board, Notion, where product manage their backlog, and the system of actions, I call it, of go-to-market, like Salesforce, Zendesk, Gong, Slack, and Intercom. And what we do is we connect between two. Like we have an AI that matches between features and customer needs. And the uniqueness of it is that our AI sits within your tools. These are plugins within Salesforce, for example, that extract the product insights and call to actions required for go-to-market, both to convey and streamline the pains and needs internally, as well as to get the visibility and updates on what's happening on the product side so we can actually take it and do something with it.
Remarkable. So, folks, we're going to see a live demo like later on today. So, like, I'm very excited to see how it all unfolds. Thank you, Odd. Like moving on to the next question. What is the biggest challenge or pain that you are trying to solve with Bagel?
Yeah. So starting at like 10,000 feet, right? First, let's look at this enormous friction between product organization and go-to-market organization. These are two very different organizations that speak in different language, that have different incentives, that have different life cycles, and that creates a lot of friction that we estimate at $150 billion that is being lost every year in the software industry. More concretely, let's take a look at the pain of the go-to-market of customer success, for example, to streamline and convey the real voice of the customer to product in order to influence the roadmap and move it towards more revenue generating or impact generating features. The main problem is that today it mostly exists, this cadence, this discussion, but it's always driven by the loudest customer, the ones that are fresh in our mind, the one that the management is pushing forward. It's never a data-driven process, never quantified. We never bring to the table the customer evidence and the context behind it, and that's what we're changing basically.
Okay, awesome. So, you know what, from my experience, I know that like, you know, leading product teams can be a very challenging role. Like on the one hand, you need to answer to the founders who want to see the product like going different like directions. Then you have sales who like keep asking like, hey, I need this specific feature, I need to close these deals and like deals like further down like the pipeline. And then you have CS coming like, hey, like, you know, what about like we need to retain customers? We have this and this and this ask. Like from your experience and conversation with other like product leaders, like do you feel the same? Do you feel like this pain is real?
The pain is real and it's huge. And product is feeling the same thing. For them, it's very hard to have a quantified discussion in order to continuously validate what to build next. Right? That's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is that in many cases, like go-to-market is blind on what's happening on the product side, they are blind on the voice of the customer and what customers are thinking, especially at scale, right? So having a right tool, solution, alignment between the two organizations is key for the success of the company.
Yeah, yeah. That's like I completely agree with you. At the end of the day, like who are the end users of Bagel? What?
Yeah. So the main users of Bagel are sales engineers and customer success people on the go-to-market side. For example, for touching base on customer success specifically, customer success needs ways and using Bagel to convey the voice of the customer, to follow up with customers and delight customers, make them feel heard, and giving them updates on their needs and requests along the way. And on the other side, we have product managers who are using it for today for their prioritization efforts. In the future, also for managing the beta program and the launch activities.
Okay, that's awesome. I see it's like, you know, all around like people like Bagel touches like people folks in like pre-sales, in post-sales, in the product team. So this is great.
Indeed.
So I guess like you know like from out of the folks that will be watching us, there will be like the ones who lead tech touch programs and are like in the area of scale CS. Like my question would be like, you know, is like Bagel is like something like that like supports like scale like as a one to many?
In fact, that's exactly where we thrive. We thrive where there is high velocity, complex products, and high scale. On one side, we collect information and analyze it from every voice of customer channel you have, and we can do that, of course, at scale. That's the advantage of it. Today, it's based most on voice of customer, on spoken voice of customer, and in the future, we'll even expand this further for all the hidden voice of the customer. So the behavioral of and the usage information of our end users in our platform. And that, of course, is very, very relevant for high scale.
Nice. Questions that like I'm as a CSM, like, our biggest like challenge, I think day to day is like talk about the ROI of our like product service platform that we talk with when we go to EBRs with the decision makers and our champions and so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, what is the ROI of using Bagel?
So we have today two ROI drivers. The first one is, of course, the cost that we are saving. We are helping the people who are in charge of this process to do more with less, or less with more, or less with more. And we can, on top of that, we can replace existing, mostly in-house solutions that requires a lot of development efforts and maintenance. The second ROI driver, which is even more important and more of our focus, is how we can increase the revenue impact, how we can help identifying more customers that needs the same features and therefore delight them, increase satisfaction, eventually retaining them, and even finding expansion opportunities. The two brings us to an ROI multiple of 25 that is estimated for a company with more or less 30 million ARR and 30 reps. And while we use Bagel, while you use Bagel, you can also see the ROI impact within the tool. We will let you know while you're using Bagel, how much of ROI expansion are we allowing you to have at every step of the life cycle, at planning, at beta program, when you launch, when you post-launch, etc.
So you're going to make your CSM's life a lot easier. Talking about the ROI, I have a built-in like ROI calculator. This is like incredible.
Yeah.
Always showing the value.
There's another interesting factor I heard yesterday, actually, which, customer success, someone told me yesterday that the customer success, half of the time, their job is to tell product what customer really need. But the real problem is how you really know which customer success did it and did it well, and who helped the organization as a whole more to improve the product and eventually influence the bottom line of our company. And but we see Bagel as one of the elements that can help us understand how much customer success managers are involved in that process, are influencing this process, and so on.
Yeah, I know I'm heavily involved with product on my end. Like sometimes they like chase me away, tell me like, guy, no, not now. But yeah, like we're very good friends with Linear B. One final question I have before we see the demo, and then we are going to hear some like success stories and stuff like that. Is like at the end of the day, what is like, your addressable market? Like you're like going after like, I don't know, B2B SaaS, like, startups, like scale up, like full enterprise. Which companies will benefit the most from having a solution like Bagel?
Yeah. So the pain we're solving really becomes critical when you start to grow, when you're in early growth stage, when the company has 200 people and above, you have a substantial go-to-market motion, and you have teams in place, and that's where we focus today. So 200 to 1,000 employees, more or less, B2B software, and at least 5 people on the go-to-market side. That's where we thrive today, and we are planning to then take it and go up market to the enterprise the more we proceed, because the more the company grows, the bigger is the pain.
Yeah.
So we definitely see ourselves also evolving in that direction. But today we are there to help you, putting the right foundations to scale the company.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we talk about like, getting like product and GTM, like talking together, like even like going on the most basic stuff, like, think about like Slack, MS Teams, like internal like communication tools. Like, as the company grows, it's like, you have too many channels, you have too many people like pinging you, like you have this thread, that, and I can really relate to what you're saying here. So I think now it's like a drum roll, like virtual drum roll. Ohad, now the floor is yours. We are really excited to see your demo. So go ahead.
Great. So let me show you some cool stuff.
Yay. I like cool stuff, cool, shiny stuff.
Okay, so what I'm going to show you at start is an example of one of the plugins we did. This one is for Salesforce, but again, we have the same for Zendesk and Slack and Intercom, other tools that are used by the go-to-market. In this case, as a persona, I'm a customer success manager. So I'm looking at an upsell opportunity with my customer called Studio Bagage. And let's say I just ended now a call with my customer. And what we are doing here, so basically we scan every relevant piece of textual information. It can come from the description of the opportunity, or it can come from a call or an email I sent after the meeting. And based on that, we recommend here on the right side for product items to submit to product organizations. For example, here we are telling the CSM, your customer is spoken about advanced Slack notification. And not only that he spoke about it, it's already in the pipeline of your product team. So the only thing you need to do is to attach this product item to your opportunity. But when doing that, you can also provide additional information. You can give it a description, a title, a priority for a sense of urgency, a commitment date if you promised it to the customer, and everything will be then streamlined and consolidated on the product side.
Yeah, amazing.
That's one example.
Everything would be a deal breaker for me. I was like deal breaker. And this is so easy. If I had something like that, like I would like shoot like feature request or like all like the GIF with the cat who is pounding like the keyboard. By the way, like
but that's important because yes, you also don't want to bombard your product with too many things and create a lot of noise, right? So that's why we do give you the option to look in the backlog and for existing items. For example, do you have something about email campaigns? And then you can see where it stands. And before you actually submit a new request, so you don't simply submit a request. You first need to search. And even if you do a new request, we will tell you if that exists afterwards, because we want to avoid duplications, right?
So it makes stronger.
But then
it makes you like existing use case stronger because I can go to a Jira board, I can like open a feature flag and then like a feature request, and then like, hey, there is another one existing already. Like, and
it's exactly the problem, and product hates it. And we help to group and consolidate and avoid even duplications from the first hand.
Amazing.
And then
I have, it's like, do you have like, I remember like from the first slide, but just wanted to make sure you have like integration with like recording tools, like dropping snippets and stuff like that.
Yes, so as I said, we have integration to Gong and to Slack and to Zendesk and Intercom, and we take all these into account whenever we look at this opportunity.
Great, awesome, nice. I like it. I'm sure you have more.
Now, sure, yeah. Now let's proceed. I'll show you a few other stuff. The real incentive to CSM is on one hand to convey the voice of customer, influence the roadmap. But there's another thing, not less important, which is I want, as a CSM, at every point of time to look at my customer and get the status of all these requests related to my customer, no matter who submitted it and from which channel, right? So whenever you'll go to your account, for example, in Salesforce, you will see all the requests. What is the expected delivery date? What's the status? Why they were submitted? From which source? And so on. And from here, you can create triggers to outreach your customer, to have a discussion with your customer, or you can prepare for your QBR and be very proactive on what your customer asked for, whether we delivered it or not, whether it's planned or not, and be a champion, right? So that's very, very important for go-to-market. Now let's switch hat and let's show you how it looks for your colleague, for your product person.
Okay.
So So for product teams, there are two use cases. The first one is their inbox of requests. We made it very easy to dispatch all the income requests from go-to-market. And when they do that, first they get in front of them the business context, so the amount and the type of opportunity and the priority and everything. They can drill down and see exactly the information about that request, and then they can decide how they where do they put it in their backlog, or that they can give very fast an answer to the go-to-market. For example, why this will not be developed because it's not part of the roadmap, or there's not enough ROI. But to close that loop, right, very fast. So first, you as a CSM will be incentivized to submit more and more requests and needs, because you get some answer from product, and it's not just getting lost in some inbox that nobody go over. And you can also go back to your customer, return to your customer, and talk about it and give them an update. So that's one thing that is one use case that we are tackling today. And the second is the prioritization efforts in the company. So we provide for product managers a consolidated view of all the business impact per each idea in their backlog. So not only how many customers, but also what's the total dollar impact of that idea? What's the split between customers and prospects? Are there any deal breakers or commitments involved? And even the means to drill inside and go over each of the customers and understand what's behind them. What's their plan? What's their priority? Do we have are their customer at risk because they're about to renew? Even how they spoke about this specific pain, so we can do a better pain analysis. And even for product, we recommend here with our AI for additional customer that spoke about the same pain or have the same need. So they can group more and more customer together and really have the right impact, let's say, assessment and ROI when they decide whether or not to develop something or when to develop something.
Amazing. Really helps you connect the dots. Like I like it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ohad.
Yeah. Last thing I want to show you, if I have some time, is at the end there's one last step that is also very important. Once product decides to develop something, so they can connect it from here to their execution platform like Jira, and there they can see with our app inside Jira, they can see for every story or epic the customers that wanted it, which idea is behind it, and also what's the total dollar impact of it. That gives a lot of visibility to R&D and remove these translation errors and make sure that whatever customer wanted and CSM advocated for, it's actually the thing that is being developed. And then we make sure also that we follow up with these customers afterwards, and the real status of the development flows down to the CSM team.
I love this. This is cool. This is really nice. Thank you, Ohad, for like this amazing.
Sure.
So right now, like we're going to have like 3 more questions, and then we're going to wrap it up. So I think like I'm interested to know like we learn from customers like all the time. What is the coolest use case a customer or prospect taught you about Bagel?
Yeah, so far we learn from customers a lot as well, and we are also using Bagel for ourselves, we dog food ourselves, which is very, very helpful. But touching on based on your question, yeah. So for one use case I have in mind is how to build a product momentum. We realize that building a product momentum is a win-win for everyone in the company, cost-wise, margin-wise, and revenue-wise. For example, one of our customers told us that whenever they do the planning, the initial planning of a certain idea, right, they're clarifying the ICP, but the ICP has different flavors. They want to separate between who are the early adopters that will be the first one to reach, who will be the target audience for the launch activity, and who would be the audience for the post-launch, right? And that Bagel can help doing that, in scale, right? And we can even help the company get an ROI, increase the ROI of any idea in the backlog by a multiple of 3 to 10, because we are doing that. So for example, that is something that we already do, based on the feedback we got from customers. And there's an extension to that, which we are planning to do, which was how we help post-launch, right, to share success stories and build a repeatable process within the CSM organization. So how we help customer success manager to tell each other about success with launching or communicating a certain feature to a customer, and then repeat that with similar customers, maybe that even didn't talk about that pain, but they are very, very similar in terms of behavior, profile, or stage in the life cycle.
Amazing. Like must be like a very healthy customer that you have in your hands. I would pay a lot of attention and learn more good ideas about their use cases. This is incredible. Like I'm also interested to hear about like success story that you have with one of your customers or prospects. Like how was the pain? How Bagel helped them overcome that? And what was the outcome at the end of the day?
Yeah. So one of our earliest customer it's a company of 150 people, more or less in terms of size. They're in SaaS fintech industry, and one of the main pain was, and it's not unique to them, but product team there felt that feedback is just buried and impossible to extract. And in addition, they have too many blind spots within the different, voice of customer tools like Gong and Zendesk and so on. So it was very hard to extract meaningful insights and from it. So what we helped them to do is to surface, once they have an existing idea in the backlog, we help them to surface additional customer with the same pain and needs. And on the day they opened Bagel, they texted me on WhatsApp, look, that's amazing, because from the very first moment, you gave us access to customer pains and you uncovered customer evidence that was never even acknowledged by our team. It was eye-opening. Right? So that was first very pleasant to hear. Yeah. But afterwards, we also understood really the outcome of it. So specifically, this one, I remember that originally they had 2 customers linked to a specific idea, and then they ended up with 15 customers linked to that idea. So the dollar potential of that idea went from 50K ARR to 400K ARR in NDR potential. And that's amazing if you think about it in terms of whenever you need to take a decision on what to develop, that's very, very important. And the second thing that helped them a lot in hindsight is that they told me that instead of chasing after customer success and understanding what other customer needs, that the discussion went from who wants it to why they want it and what's the urgency of it. So they spent more time actually on developing the right thing rather than collecting the information from everyone.
Oh, that's incredible. That's like, I love the success story. It's like a great success story. Yeah. Now, sadly, we're almost wrapping up. This will be our final question today. Time flies.
Time goes fast.
So, Ohad, I'm interested in, you're like in a very like unique position that you see like product teams, and you also like, I guess like the product team in their turn, like talk to like CSMs and CS leaders. I'm interested in like what specific advice would you give to like any CSMs or CS leaders that might be watching us right now?
So I'll start by saying that we live today in a sobering era where software companies are required to better utilize their existing resources, and be it employees or customers or R&D efforts, and deliver value faster and be more efficient. That being said, for a CS leader, right, we must acknowledge that AI today is disrupting every aspect of our life, including the professional aspects of it, and CS is no different. Right. So the first tip I have for a CS leader in that sense is don't stay behind. And look for AI solution, because otherwise it will harm your business even not in the long term, in the short term. And then the second tip I would give is when you look at AI solutions, you need to try and look a bit beyond the trivial. Like most of the AI tools today will try and sell you propositions that are meant to cut processes. How can I have a summary of something? It's important, it's nice, but it's not how you can really leverage this technology. You can really leverage this technology to focus more on use cases that are around expansion, around how can I increase impact, how can I increase revenue, how can AI predict something for me rather than just automate tasks. And that's, I think, if you have this mindset when you choose your AI platform, be it Bagel or another, doesn't matter, I think you'll make a much better, smarter choice that will also help the company in the long run.
Amazing. So you're saying basically like adopt new technologies and AI. Second, like think about the why you adopt it and like how it's going to
think about the why and how AI is being implemented in order to really move the needle of your main KPIs.
Yeah, a very suitable like a tech tip for like a CS Tech Spotlight. So Ohad, I had a great time talking to you today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming for our first. This is like our very first episode of CS Tech Spotlight.
We like to be pioneers, and I really enjoyed that call. And thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to continue this partnership between Bagel and CS Insider.
Thank you. Bye everyone. Thank you very much for joining. Bye bye.
Ciao.